Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. I'm just reading some of the comments that's coming in already. There's quite a lot of comments that's in already. I'm just going to see if I can get this one comment up because it kind of goes well with. I'm just going to. There is a number of players that Celtic have been linked with in the past few hours. Maybe our boards are waiting for us to get into the next round of Europa League before we bring in players that Martin wants. This is the only way I can think of, says Haggis, Neeps and Tatis. And I've got to say, before we bring in, when you look at what Martin O'Neill said to the print media tonight, Martin O'Neill insists that Celtic will splash the cash in the final days of the transfer window. Celtic are obviously looking at several targets. Bodo Glint player, Caspar Ho, looks like we've missed out on him. We've already got in Julian Araujo and Big Tam the Czech. Check the mic. Big Tam the Czech. Celtic have yet to spend serious money, even though we've got plenty of cash in the bank. And there's a number of players that we have been linked with, and there is one player as well that we've been linked with the whole window. Shamrock Rovers have rejected a move for Michael Noonan. That's one that is weird because it's like this. I mean, they're owned by the same guy that owns Celtic, and how this has to go to a bidding war is beyond me. But anyway, we get away from that. Celtic are eyeing a Serie A left back. Let's start from the defence. Let's start from the defence and the defender. Oh, wait a minute. Gallo. We'll get him up on the screen. Get his stats up on the screen for you all to see. Celtic have been linked with this guy, defender, 26-year-old, valued at £1 million. He's a defender, so when you look at it, it doesn't really matter with regards to his appearances and stats and goals. The appearances is probably the one that you would look at. 24 appearances this season. He's had a good run of games every season. 30, 27, 27, 33, 37, 33, 24 games this season so far, but I think he has fallen out of favour slightly, and Celtic look to try and get this guy in on just back to publish mode. Celtic are trying to get him in. He's a left back. Do we really need another left back? I don't know. So that would stop popping up. You can play the left back or the left midfield, unless Martin O'Neill is looking to bring him in as a left midfielder. That's the only thing that I can think that he's going to do with that guy. Right, let's get on to the next one, who is a central defender. I think he's more as a left winger, as a right back. A defensive midfielder that we've been looking at. Celtic have also been looking at the boy Silas Anderson. And let's get Silas Anderson's. I just clicked Anderson. We'll get his stats up. He's valued at roughly around about the same kind of dosh. And he scored a few goals over the course of this season. But he's kind of another player that's kind of fallen out of favour. And, that's ultimately the type of I mean, I don't know too much about him, midfielder, but we do need, the way that I could see this one happening, if we are going to accept something for Rio Hitati, and he will be brought in as cover for the fact that Rio Hitati is about to leave the club. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if it came in on Friday that Rio Hitati was leaving the club. There's a couple of super chats coming in. Keep up the good work, Baz. Thank you very much. And a big shout out to Stephen Johnson, the one Celtic fans view legend. So this is the guy that comes out of Sweden. He's currently playing in Sweden, I think. Haken. That's in Sweden, isn't it? He's been at Utrecht in the Denmark under 19, so he's Danish, not Swedish, but I think he's playing in Sweden just now. Another youngster coming into the midfield. Ultimately, Celtic are not going to be bringing in too much experience, I think, in this window, because the players that were brought in before that have any kind of experience, well, let's just say they've not done too well for us, have they? Now, and then there is a striker, a Nigerian striker. We've been linked with quite a few Nigerian strikers over the course of the last month. Will Celtic finally make an offer for one of these strikers? People will look at his stats and they'll be like, it's not that impressive, especially when you go with appearances versus goals. Are they any better than what we've got at Celtic? And I think that's the thing that Martin O'Neill was looking at. I mean, is this the only thing that this guy's got going for him is that he's younger than Kelechi Iheanacho. Now, Kelechi Iheanacho, we even have him up. When you look at Kelechi's stats on the screen now, there we go. Kelechi Iheanacho's 29-year-old, 3 months, Nigerian. His stats haven't been that great over the course of his career, so maybe it's the fitness issues that Kelechi's had, and Celtic have went, look, he's been out injured far too much this season. We need someone in to hit the ground running just now and ultimately try and score a few goals for us. But are we really going to get anyone that is in their team and doing really well? I don't think so. Do you know what I mean? This guy that's potentially coming in, he scored the same amount of goals as Iheanacho. He's only played 14 goals this season. So that's the transfer update as it stands at the moment. I'm going to jump through. There's another super chat coming from Danny Cassie. Thank you for that, mate. I'm going to jump through to the end of the comments. There was something else that popped up, but no, it was the Martin O'Neill one, wasn't it? So Martin O'Neill was obviously talking to the media after the video conference, talking to the print media, and Martin O'Neill has said that once we get I think it's all about, Haggis, Neeps and Tatty probably hit the nail on the head. I think it is all about getting the game tomorrow night out the way. It's the exact same as what happened last year. Martin O'Neill said he's not just relying on loan deals ahead of Monday's transfer deadline. That Monday's going to be it's going to be a laugh, isn't it? We're all going to be up till yon time of night waiting on the window closing. It's going to be a long day Monday. Martin O'Neill said it's to do with the idea, first of all, that you need to get players. Who's to say that we might not spend the money? There's a willingness if you get help, and then then there are forces elsewhere. We can only do so much if somebody gets, let's say we had a number of players and we were interested in. Martin O'Neill was talking in a lot of rhythms and rhymes today, wasn't he? I mean, he was even talking about his psychiatrist and the fact that and I think that he was just, Martin O'Neill doesn't want this job full time. He's pissed off with Scottish media already. He'd rather be sitting on the other side of the television camera in a studio, not sitting in the stand getting asked the same mundane question over and over again in different variations. And he just sits there and he's sitting, and I thought it was hilarious because he's just like, yeah, my psychiatrist isn't coping with it very well. But anyway, it's just even admitted, Martin O'Neill, that he was talking balderdash. Is a word that you don't hear very often, don't you? Anyway, Martin O'Neill went on to say if he can do so much to get some players in, the days are pressing, but I am hopeful. O'Neill says that the struggles in the January window are down to market forces and denied friction between the Celtic chiefs at the lack of investment so far this month. Martin O'Neill said, absolutely trust me on this one. There is not a division. I am trying to see what we can get. Some of the players that we thought were set up didn't go ahead for one reason or another, didn't materialise. But if you have a set of players that you think is your A list, B list, I'm not sure if you want to go down to an F list, which stands for a lot of things, Fucking shite, as Martin O'Neill says. I don't really want that, Martin O'Neill said. He says, I can get some people in. There's some things that you thought, yep, he's really good, and 25 minutes later, something changes. The price, somebody else comes in. Believe it or not, clubs with bigger assets in that sense, but Celtic, I'm still hopeful. He said hopeful. He keeps saying hopeful a lot. Martin O'Neill, that his top priority is a wide man, but he's determined not to leave the next hoops boss saddled with duds, he said. He said, let me put it this way. I'm sure if Wilfred Nancy would have had a set of players that he was interested in, that might have been a different set of players to me, and it might be a different set of players to Brendan Rodgers. So from my viewpoint, I came in on the 5th of January. You tried to get to work immediately on players. There's fairly decent chance if you go down to Ladbrokes, you'll get your money on that I won't be here next year. Martin O'Neill again reiterating today that he will not be here next season. And do you blame him? Me for one, I definitely do not blame Martin O'Neill. I mean, I'd be champing at the bit to get to the end of the season and just go bugger that. So anyway, from Martin O'Neill's viewpoint, I don't want to thrust some players onto the next manager that they may not like. Now, talking about the next manager, one of the favourite exclusive websites tonight came out with a headline that an exclusive that the next manager will be. Where's the drum roll? Do we have the drum roll? Do we need the drum roll? Should we even do the drum roll? It's going to be Stevie Clark. Did it do it? I never heard it. No, it didn't. All system sound. There we go. It's going to be Stevie Clark. Yes. Stevie Clark is next manager. Well, a little bit of sprinkle, and maybe he'll come in with a. There's one thing it won't be. It won't be a from the Green Brigade. Yeah, and the Green Brigade are still banned, and they'll still be banned for. I've no idea. I think it's just ridiculous what's going on with the Green Brigade now. But anyway, that's the last of the sounds, because they're just pure bonkers. There's another super chat. There's a couple of other super chats came in. Hilary Basden and the one Celtic fans view troops. Hope you're all well. Minor miracle to win this league. I'd say especially with the biscuit tin mentality still in place. Yeah, mate. It's. I don't think it's the biscuit tin mentality. I do think that it's Michael Nicholson. There's no one else to blame. I don't know, and I've said it before, I'm just repeating myself now, his inability to conclude transfer negotiations in a timely manner, it just doesn't cut the mustard. Just doesn't cut the mustard one bit, and that's the truth. And until I'm drinking my tea tonight before it gets cold, by the way, and until Lubo, there's a player that we wish we could get back in some capacity, isn't it? Until we get rid of Michael Nicholson, I don't believe that Celtic will go forward in the fashion that the fans would really like us to. And by that, I mean just getting deals done quick. You know, I know that transfer negotiations can take a bit of time. Thank you for the super chat, Ian. But ultimately, he's the man that's let us down over what? How long has he been CEO? How long has he been in charge? It's too long, far too long. Anyway, let's get back to the chat of manager, because it looks like it's going to be down to two managers. And if you're a betting man, it is either going to be Stevie Clark or the first who's still in first position, I think. And it will be Sean Maloney's old gaffer and Roberto Martinez. And maybe Celtic will finally get their man in Martinez, because Celtic were after Martinez when Brendan Rodgers came into the club back in 2016. Now, he's had a wealth of experience playing at different levels. Some people say that the Portuguese don't like him due to the type of football that he ultimately plays. But it's looking like it is going to be down to Martinez. And this is what makes it even worse, is both the managers, if it is either of those, because they're at the World Cup, they will not publicly accept the job, and they won't even talk about the job. But behind closed doors, surely you start some kind of conversation with them to, one, would they be interested after the World Cup? Because leaving it after the World Cup is it's like pissing against the wind. It's leaving it too late. You know, you surely have the conversations now with people. That if there is a 1, 2, and 3, you have conversations with them in the back and just say, look, would the Celtic job's coming up in the summer? Would you be interested in the summer? We don't want you to commit to anything just now, but it's either a yes or no. Yes, you would be interested in the summer, and there could be some behind the scene negotiations going. It happens all the time. There could be some background negotiations with agents of these people to iron out the sort of financial aspects of the deal. But that's not even happening just now. Don't know. I mean, Celtic are in the. I don't even think that they're in the trenches trying to get transfers done. But there's one thing that they're not. They're not even thinking about the next manager just yet. In this window, and Martin O'Neill's right. Look, I could go out and bring in 7 players, but you could go and buy 7 players that could be a complete, utter shit show, like what happened when Brendan Rodgers first came into the club. He was adorned with 7 players that allegedly came from the previous manager, and none of them were any good, supposedly. But anyway, we move on regardless, as they say. So, I'm not even going to do a poll, right? Because I think that if it's going to come down to anybody, I would more than likely prefer Martinez, because it would mean that Sean Maloney would stay in position. I think that Fozzie would stay in position, and I don't think that Stevie Clark would take the job, to be honest. He said that he wouldn't take it years ago because of the nonsense he got for his family. So we'll wait and see. I see we got fined 650 for the appeal. We got fined £650 for the appeal. That's crazy. Anyway, right, let's turn our thoughts to tomorrow night's game. Let's get rid of that one, and that'll be. Oh no, I can't do that, can I? Do you know what I'm going to do? The Champions League